Welcome back to Weekly Defuse, and this week we'll be talking about everything going on in the Valorant scene. But for this week, we'll be talking about the Ascension League, some scorching hot takes, and of course, another bad Plat Chat tier list. I'm Galaxy from the Inting Podcast, and my co-host for today, Dominic from Off the Dome. How are you, man?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm going skiing this weekend.
Ooh,
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
But if I can do a skiing accident, would you keep running the show?
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna be talking to myself this whole time, but yeah. Unfortunately, I'll have to be with Danny, but I'll make do. Yeah, I know. I'm excited because I know Ludwig is now co-host of Moist Esports, and now they're thinking of getting a Valorant team, which is interesting.
Honestly, the more like people wanting to make content in the space in Valorant, especially when it comes to tier 2, like the more opportunities it gives to everybody. So I'm down. When are we starting an esports team?
Oh God, no, that is a lot to take. There's not much money. You can't make money in esports. I'd rather be part owned of an already established esports. That's a lot of work starting my own one. But
Damn.
maybe down the line we can start one. But I think right now it's just a little hard. So, from the Ascension leagues, I have here. We have the qualify. So there's partner teams and then there's the qualified teams. I'm gonna go over the the already partner teams that were like automatically in, and then you could tell the teams that qualified. The teams that already made it in were the Guard, M80, Shopify, TSM, G2, and FaZe. Those were the teams that already entered into the Challengers League.
And so then the way that it worked was that there was a second tournament. There was 2 tournaments really to get into this qualified section, the league itself for Ascension. The open qualifier, which had 4 people, and the closed qualifier, the last chance qualifier, which had 2 people. For the first open tournament, we had 4 teams get through: Breakthrough, Disguised, Oxygen, and Dark Ratio, now Mad Lions.
And OR Esports.
OR made the through the closed qualifier.
Funny enough, I didn't even know they were an actual org. I thought they were just like the 5-man team just named something. So I didn't even know that's an actual org.
They are? Damn.
Yeah, OR Esports is an actual. I didn't even know that either.
So yeah, OR Esports and Squirtle Squad's now Turtle Team.
Turtle Troop. Just because Riot asked them to change their name just because they don't want to deal with Nintendo. Which is,
I think it's really funny.
It's so funny how Nintendo got involved. They're like, yeah, you can't name yourself Squirtle Squad.
Yeah, I think the most notable team, though, is probably Disguised, which was a team founded just prior to the tournament, but seems to have been working like together for a while. It's got Steel on it, which is really important from 100 Thieves / T1. A lot of experience, big guy. Gangsta, who used to be a big name from Immortals. He's kind of a little quieter, but now they're coming back. They swept through the bracket, which I think is really important and really adds another layer of that like influencer team, coming in and doing some damage.
Exactly. This is kind of interesting. And then I like how the Dark Ratio, essentially the Dark Zero team that lasted for like 2 months. I like seeing them because I always felt like that roster was always kind of solid and they just never really reached their limit. But like now seeing them here with like Zexro and Drone and Tig, and then now instead Will is now on the team instead of oh my God, I forgot who else on the team, because I know he got cut from 100 Thieves for Cryo, but now seeing him compete is going to be interesting. I always thought he was a solid player. He was never a bad player. Seeing him getting the spotlight again is always interesting, but I know Dark Ratio is now Mad Lions. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
And yeah, so going forward, though, we have the actual closed league starts today. I think there's 2 matches today. It's the Guard versus Disguise, which I think would be a really important match. And, who's the second match?
FaZe Clan and G2.
Yeah, which is going to be really big because we've never seen FaZe Clan play.
Mm-hmm. And we've never seen G2 play. These are the first time we've seen these 2 teams play.
This would be a big matchup, actually. Dude, I'm so excited for that G2 team. G2 has so many good players on it, especially like from V1 as well.
Yeah, they have like it was Whippy and Pawnee from V1, and they got Shazam and Dapper from Sentinels, and they got Oxygen Esports. Actually, funny enough.
Yeah, Oxy.
No, he was from Dark Ratio. I'm sorry, he was from Dark Ratio. He was on that.
Oxy, I know, is a big grinder, so that's gonna be important.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, and so this week, those are the main talking points that we have. Not much has happened. This is just the starting week. But going forward, next week we're gonna have more matches. We're gonna get closer to Sao Paulo, which we'll talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be interesting because now news came out that Rossi might actually be joining FaZe Clan as in the roster. So
really,
George broke the news, and now it's gonna be interesting to see. But we still don't know who the other 2 teams are, because as I'm looking at VLR right now, it's only Baby Bay and Poise, and then there's nobody else on the team. So Dicey has not. I don't know if he's still registered on the team. I don't know. Nobody knows who's on the FaZe Clan team. I think we're not going to literally know until the match starts in 5 hours. So we're not going to know who's on that team till then. So it's going to be
stay tuned.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Our next segment is we call Eco or Force. You're either going to save and pick a safe pick, or you force it and give us your hot take.
Dude, and I'm going to start off with a scorcher for you, all right?
Okay.
All right, so we all know the two teams, right? Group A has FaZe Clan, Shopify, G2 Breakthrough, Oxygen, Turtle Troop. Pretty good. Group B has some heavy hitters. M80, looking like a god squad. Apparently crushing it. The Guard, also crushing it. We know who they are. They won the Ludwig tournament, looking great. Disguised, pretty good. You know, they've done some damage. They swept through the open qualifier. Also had Mad Lions, OR, looking like they're more on the brink of out qualifying. But there's one team that I think's gonna do some damage. That's TSM. You know I've been a TSM fan, and I think TSM will place top 2 in this group. It seems like there's a pretty clear 1-2 with M80 and the Guard. I think TSM, they've had the chemistry. They've built it up for a while now. They have a really good roster, right? They got GMD, who I think is insane. Probably one of the best smokers one of the best like offensive smokers in North America, which is a really like niche thing to do. But I think he's like similar to Marv in that way, where he can do a lot of damage and knows when to pick his spots. He's played as both like the third option on a team, but also the first option on the team when he's playing back in Gen G. Same with Nature. Nature is such a good pickup because he's such a dynamic IGL and just a player in general. Also having Hayes back with the experience. This Corey, they're not even the main, duelist, but these guys just seem so good. So I think this TSM roster is actually gonna do some damage, making it in the top 2 of this group.
That's an interesting take because I know I can see them maybe qualifying, but top 2 against the Guard and M80, that's interesting because
yeah.
I don't know, you've heard from Twitter from pros, they're just dominating scrims, they're just like sweeping them through, so it's going to be interesting to see how they are in game time. So my eco take is I think M80 and the Guard, they're just going to be top 2. Like, that's my safe pick. I don't see, it's going to be really hard for me to see either one of these teams not be top 2. So it's going to be interesting. I know with a stacked Group B roster, it's going to be interesting to see, but I still believe that M80 and the Guard are going to be top 2 because I know with M80, they have the Ghost Core, so they have the Jonah... No, not Jonah, I'm sorry. It was John QT, Koala Noob, and Nismo, which that Ghost Squad was really solid when they were first there. And then adding
I forgot they have Xander too.
They have Xander, which in my opinion is one of the most underrated controllers in North America, which I really love that he's finally on like a really solid team. And then they have EU, which is in my opinion one of the more impactful players from NRG. So this roster just looks solid overall. Like, I can't see this squad like doing bad. That's what I'm seeing. And then the Guard, of course, they've been together for a while. Saya player went to T1, but then they got replaced with Tex, who's a really solid replacement. I just don't see this squad losing. And then looking from, I know Tarek was more of just for fun, but it was good. It was nice to see them, and they were looking really solid for the most part. I think that's my eco take.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely very safe, because they do seem like they're doing well. There's a lot of teams we kind of know. We can almost rank teams based off of how safe they are going in. Like, we have teams like the Guard, Shopify, who we kind of know who they are, what they can do, and sort of their range of potential and where they're at right now. But there's a lot of teams that we don't really know where they're at. It's teams like M80, where we know they're doing well in scrims, we haven't really seen them play. Or teams like FaZe. FaZe is a big one, which is actually my next take. My safe pick, I'm ecoing on FaZe. I'm saying FaZe down. Actually, no, I'm saying FaZe neutral because I don't think they're going to be the best, but I also don't think they're going to be the worst. Again, we don't know who's on that roster. We know it has Baby Bay, as Poised, maybe Rossi, hopefully Dicey. I hope Dicey comes back. They've proven they can play at a top level, but at the same time, this roster shakeup and like uncertainty really doesn't help with the team dynamic, doesn't help with what they're going to be able to do in the game. It seems like nobody really knows what's going on in FaZe. Even the owners, where they're just like, their stock's crashing, I'm like, what's going on? So I'm equal on FaZe. I'm saying that they're gonna have a very mediocre split. I could be proven wrong, but my gut feeling tells me that they're gonna qualify, but they're not gonna be number 1, number 2. They're gonna be like that 3-4 range, maybe 5.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm very neutral on FaZe, which I don't know if that's a scorcher or if that's like a very normal take.
Yeah, because no, we haven't heard anything from them. Literally nothing. I don't know if just because the company is going to shit or what's going on with that squad, but at least we would want to know what happens to their esports or like the esports teams. So it's going to be interesting. I could say that. My absolute force, scorcher of a force, I say Shopify is not making it out of groups.
This is an awful take.
I
But
say
continue.
Shopify is not making it out of groups. I feel like they are being way too overhyped. I get it, they're the old LG squad, but I don't think they are. This qualifier is the qualifying of underdogs. I can see teams like Oxygen Esports. I can see teams like Turtle Troop just dominate them. Have what we've seen from them, and I'm just saying right now, I think Shopify Rebellion is not gonna qualify. Are they a bad team? No, they're not a bad team. I just think this is the qualifiers of underdogs, and we're going to see some underdogs rise up. And with that being said, I think Ascension Esports, which has a pretty solid team, which I really like, they have it in Randy Savage, Mitch, Pawnee, Scuba, and Verno. It just looks like a very solid team, and they did really well in the qualifiers. I think they made it to the lower bracket, but they did really good. And then Turtle Troop. People keep sleeping on this team, but like if anybody was watching them during the qualifiers, they were amazing. Like genuinely one of the best teams to watch. They were so entertaining. Adder is a machine, a sentinel machine. I think he's proving himself to be really a top player. And then you have Weeded, Governor, and a Harmful who already have tier 1 and tier 2 experience. It's just this squad, I can see them getting over it. Of course, I see G2 making it, and then maybe FaZe Clan. It's more of just a 4 slot. I see G2, Oxygen, and Turtle Troop making it. It's just the 4 slot can go to anybody. And I think the hot take is Shopify is going to stink out.
All right, Galaxy, I have one word for you.
Yeah?
Notch. If they don't make it, I expect to see the little eyebrow missing.
Oh my god, I'm just letting you know, like they're not, it's just, I have a feeling. It's a gut feeling, and usually 90% of the time, 100% of the time, they're not wrong.
90% of the time, every time.
90% of the
They're
time,
not wrong,
every time, it's never wrong. So I'm just saying this right now. I think the Shopify are going to be stinkers.
Damn. Well, I don't know. That's a crazy take. This is a plat chat level take here.
Oh yeah, but we're definitely smarter.
We're definitely smart, dude. Okay, let's not talk about our ranks. Give me another take from you. Give me another take.
Okay, everyone hates this, but I think Disguised is a top 5 team out of everybody here. They're a top 5 team. And reason is, through the whole qualifiers, they have only dropped 1 map. And every single time they even look down, they somehow manage to scrub up and manage to get back. The reason is I feel like Steel is such an impactful player that nobody really feels like how good of an IGL he really is. I know everyone like talks about his 100 Thieves days where he just like, he was good, but then they cut him just due to conflict of interest. But I feel like Steel as an IGL is definitely solid. And then I feel like Gangsta and Exalt finally have like that time where they can really shine. And what they were showing in qualifiers were nothing close to amazing. And then Clear, I mean, to be honest with you, Clear has been someone that's, I feel like has been fell off, and he hasn't really been in the, he's like just a pub stomper and finally on a solid team and really showing that how much of a great player he really is. So I'm saying this, everyone keeps like, they're going to get destroyed by the guard. Would they lose to the guard? I can see it, but I can see maybe a small chance there could be an upset where they beat the guard because of how solid that team is. So my hot take is I feel like the Disguise is they're getting shit on too much, and they're a top 5 team.
Well, you're a man of many risks, many forces. Is that? Damn. Well, I have another force for you. All right. Mm-hmm. Another big buy. I'm buying big on this idea. I think there's gonna be another influencer buying one of these teams. We talked about it very briefly beforehand. Yeah. We saw Mad Lions buy Dark Ratio. I think we're either going to see Moist Esports, maybe like, I don't know, an OTV team. We might see an Inting podcast team. Who knows? But I think one of these teams, especially an unsigned team, will be bought out by a larger organization or an individual, an influencer of some sort. Because of the content it produces, this Ascension is shaping up to be one of the biggest Valorant like leagues in the world. Not just like outside of international, like this is like up there with it, with the international leagues. Yeah. We see like the EU tier 2 scene going to shit. Mad Lions left, G2 left, Oxygen left. Like, we're going to see a lot more focus on the North America Ascension League than we will maybe even certain aspects of other international leagues. because of just how much talent there is in here, how much like a focus is getting from like larger esports teams, from influencers, and people are going to want a piece of that pie. My vote, it's probably going to be either Breakthrough or Turtle Troop. I think those are the two best from the remaining. I don't know, is Breakthrough an actual esports team or is just like some guys breaking through?
It's just a bunch of guys.
So I think one of those two, actually those are the only two left, but one of those two will be bought in some capacity.
Yeah, I feel like it would make sense if Moist got into it, just because Ludwig is a big Valorant guy. I know Charlie isn't a big Valorant guy, but I know Ludwig is a very big Valorant guy. So I can always see, and now he's co-owner. I could definitely see him buy a squad. I know briefly on stream I saw them talking about it. It's like it's a very hard process because essentially each player costs differently, and then you have to pay them monthly, and then that's times 5, and then you have to get a coach. So it's definitely harder than just buying a fighters or like a Rocket League team. It's definitely much harder. But I can definitely see someone like Moist. I know Myth briefly tweeted out saying he would interested in buying, so we can see someone like Myth making buying one of these teams. I know could it be for a long period of time? Probably not, but it would be interesting to see. But yeah, I can see that. I feel like I would love to see Moist in more FPS, because I feel like they're only in Rocket League and fighting games right now. But seeing them in more an FPS sphere would be interesting. Yeah, or maybe Mr. Beast. Who knows?
True. Mr. Beast did talk about it. He said he was trying to get a League of Legends spot, though, wasn't he?
But yeah, which is even harder than Valorant, which I don't know how he's either has to buy the spot or he has to be part of an org that's already in there. So it's going to be interesting. But I think influencers being in esports, or just influencers or content creators buying teams or starting their own org, is definitely going to be the future, and it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think it's super important from like a content perspective, because esports is getting more content focused, because people are realizing that you cannot make money anywhere else, right? Yeah. It's about advertisements, it's about VC money, because the prize pools are abysmal. The players cost way too much. Their salaries are inflated. Not that they don't deserve the money, but like there's not enough revenue in esports itself to sustain itself, right? It's sustained by venture capitalists. Merch is trying to become a bigger thing, a bigger piece of the pie. Content's becoming a bigger piece of the pie because of the ad revenue you can get from like things like Twitch or like rev shares and all this stuff. So I think content creators that are able to kind of run smaller operations and a more focused operation would be better than a sort of big esports team. But again, what do I know? I don't own a team, so...
No, you do make a point. I feel like this year everyone's finally realizing you can't just make a juggernaut team and just keep winning and then get your money back. The cold hard truth is content makes money, merch makes money, brand deals make money. It's not your esports team winning. Esports team, yes, they matter and promoting your org, but of course content is king. I mean, you look at Moist, like look at their content team, look at their like what every time their org is playing, like in Rocket League, Guilty Gear, Smash, any of those games, when they're playing, Charlie's watch partying them, and he's promoting that game, promoting viewership, and it gets inflated viewership. So content is king, and I'm gonna be interested to see. My thing, I feel like is who's gonna get bought. I feel like the only two non-orgs technically are what? Turtle Troop or Breakthrough. They're the only two teams that are like a non-org team. So it's going to be between one of those two teams. I mean, I personally would love to see Turtle Troop, just, Moist, Turtle Troop, Squirtle Squad. It would just make more sense. Yeah. But of course, I know the legality of it and the pricing is going to be different. But I could see one of the, it'd be interesting to see them play in Ascension. Would they get bought this week? Maybe not, unless they announce it maybe literally the next hour or so. They probably won't get a bot this week, but it'd be interesting. Maybe if they qualify, or they qualify for the playoffs or the mid-season invitational, it's gonna be interesting. But I can see the content is king.
Content is king. Yeah, so let's move into our final section, the main sort of thing we want to talk about, because it's been a big topic as of recently, and that is Ascension tier list. This is the Plat Chat tier list, and I got a lot of flack online, more than I honestly think it deserved, because I mean, for real, like, what do we know about these guys? Who's gonna place where, aside from like the heavy hitters? There's a lot of unknowns, but it got a lot of flack for underrating a lot of these qualifying teams. They automatically place the top 6 teams as the 6 qualified teams, which I think we can say for certain, some of these teams we literally have never seen, so giving it automatic to them is kind of crazy, and they got a lot of shit for this, right? So what do? Try to prove them wrong. So Galaxy and I made our own tier list. We've seen it, we really commented on it, but we're gonna try our best to go through and cause as little controversy as possible. Please, Ennis, explain your your list
Okay.
for me here, because I need some explanations.
My tier list, and this is but I looked through this and I'm still very confident in this tier list.
That's crazy.
My tier
But
list
continue.
is my tier list is the guard at 1 and M80. Well, top 2, honestly, it could go either or. That's my thing.
That's
The
fair.
top 2 can go either or.
That's fair.
I know I shit on Shopify, but I still think they're a solid team. On paper, of what we've seen, they're a top 3 team of what we've seen before, and they're still the same core is still there. So, the ceiling is not there. The ceiling is still there, and the like the chemistry and everything is still there. So that's why I'm still saying number 3. I would agree with you. TSM is on the 4 slot. I do feel like GMD is a very solid player. Having Hayes back as a true IGL and a true support role is a good pickup, and having Nature, which is an underrated player, it's gonna be interesting. My thing is, I said Disguise, a top 5 team. I already talked in detail about them. I think they're a very solid team. The one thing I do agree with Platcha is G2 on number 6. I do agree, just because one, on paper, they're a stacked team. They're a very good team, but we just haven't seen them play as a 5 together. Let's be serious. All those players, I mean, most of those players had like a down year, I feel like, last year. So like now it's good to see them play together, and it's going to have like a very big up year. Dark Ratio, who's now Mad Lions, I feel like the number 7 spot, it's a save. In my opinion, 7, 8, 9, it could, either one of them can switch. In my thing, all 3 of them can either be any of those slots. So it would be Mad Lions, and then I had Turtle Troop at number 8, and then I had Oxygen Esports at number 9. I feel like just what we've seen with Ascension and we've seen them as an org, I feel like, or as a squad, I feel like that's really good. I have OR Esports at number 10, because, I mean, they did have a pretty rough LCQ, but they ran through the lower brackets. They almost lost to Sonics, but they brought it back, which that's why I'm scared of. And the only reason I have FaZe on the squad is because we have no idea who's on the squad. As of this recording, 5 hours before the match starts, we have no idea who the squad is. So I'm going to go with that. And then I have Breakthrough at 12. I just don't see this squad making it through.
Damn. Well, I'll comment. We'll go back and forth and kind of critique each other's list, but let me give my list next, because I would say it's similar in some ways and different in others. So pulling up my list next. First, I have the guard. I think top 3, I think the top 4 are the same as yours, right? The guard, M80, Shopify, TSM. Slightly different order. I do think that Shopify is slightly better than M80 for the sole reason that they have played together for longer and they have more chemistry built. M80, on paper, has probably the craziest roster that you could have built during the offseason, plus or minus a few guys, right? M80 has been winning. They've been winning in scrims. I think they're up there, but I think Shopify's experience in the winning department gives them that edge over them. And also TSM, I think, is just in that same conversation of them with the 1, 2, 3, 4, because again, they have that chemistry pre-built. They've been doing the damage. They beat Sentinels. They beat T1. They've been doing stuff. They've been winning. And so I think goes 1, 2, 3, 4. You have Breakthrough at number 12, which I think is crazy. I have Breakthrough at number 5.
That's insane. You're saying they're better than Mad Lions, Turtle Troop, and Oxygen? That is insane to me.
Yeah, okay, because Breakthrough is such a, at least we've seen them play and win, right? This team, listen to this. Thief, a Proto, Sim, don't really know much about him, Flya, and Brock, right? Thief and a Proto are just certified winners. A Proto has been winning at a consistent level for so long. He's an older guy. He's one of the fastest, one of the best headshotters in the world, which is a really crazy thing to say. Quick tangent. This guy's got like 50% average headshot rating. He's the highest like on VLO.
That's insane.
He's crazy. He's really good. And he's a really smart player, and he's a winner. I think being a winner is way more important with experience and just, winning than it is to just have a good team. Thief, also certified winner. Brock, also certified winner. They've played with multiple tier 1 orgs. They have a good ceiling with players like Flya. I don't know too much about Sim, but looking through this team also, they have been doing it well. They qualified first, also through winners. They had a very underrated run, beating OR Esports, beating the nation to qualify through the first open bracket. Again, only losing 2 maps. So if you're using Disguise run as the same thing, they're more or less an even level. But I believe in the caliber of winning experience that this team has, right? You can go to the finals as many times as you want, but it matters how many times you win it,
Yeah.
6-0 in the finals, that's all I'm saying. And that's why I think Breakthrough has that slight edge, because they have that experience in winning. G2 next, again, insanely good on paper. They've had, outside of this practice time now, they've had no experience as this roster, and they're a totally new 5, right? This is a totally new roster. Some have had played together a bit, but they're going to have to find their new systems, their new dynamics, and that is a hard thing to kind of build. You need more than just like a few weeks to build it up. G2 has the ceiling of an insanely high team, especially with players like Penny, players like Shazam, right? They have insanely high caliber of players, but it all come down to, how they put it together. Disguise number 7, similar reasons why you said. I think, again, they're going to be a very good roster because they have that experience, and they have Oxygen. I also think is an insanely good roster because just look at their players. Again, I keep using this caliber of winning idea as like their statistic outside of any sort of game footage, but I think they have some really good players that have been around for a while, right? Not just in CS or anything, but that have experience in Valorant and winning Valorant. Most notably, Mitch and Scuba. Mitch was the longest standing Cloud9 member for a while, insanely consistent. I think that is one of the most important things in Valorant is to be consistent. Same reason why I say Zeta is such a good player, because he's so consistent. And Scuba is that other player that has probably cemented himself as one of, if not the best Sentinel players. Not the best, but one of the best Sentinel players in North America, because just how strong he is on offense, how solid he's on defense at defending sites. His utility usage is good. Overall, he's a very, very strong player, and they have a great roster to round out around them, right? I think Oxygen has the capability of making upsets. I don't think they're in that same echelon as the 1, 2, 3, 4, but I think they're in the next echelon of 5, 6, 7, 8 are all kind of in that same level. And similarly, I think 9, 10, 11, 12 are also in that same level. Again, very good roster. But not as much champion experience. Turtle Squad, Turtle Troop, I can't remember what they're called now. Turtle Troop. Also very good, and some really good young talent. Okay, honest, especially that guy's good. That guy's cracked. And phase number 10, similar reasons to you. We haven't really seen them play together. They could be a lot better than this, but I think they're in that same echelon of this. And finally, OR Esports, good but not as good as some of these other teams. And I think that's sort of where I land with that. So, Galaxy, what are your thoughts on my roster here?
I can see why you think Breakthrough is number 5, but the fact that you say that they're better than what I've seen through the challengers, what I've seen, because I've watched it a good amount, and that I'm seeing through the squad, it's kind of interesting how you say they're better than Oxygen, Squirtle, Turtle Troop, and Dark Ratio as a team, and I know they're better than FaZe because we don't know who's on that roster, but also you saying they're better than G2. I understand because you're saying as a core, but I can see, but it's just if we look at their group again, their group is a very coin flippy kind of group where anybody can make it. It's very hard compared to for example, Group B is literally the group of death, where Group A is more just okay, you might have a chance. That's why I'm just saying that when it comes to Group A, they're more, it's just it's hard for me to see them better than Oxygen or Turtle Troop or even Shopify. We can even put that and if we finally figure out who FaZe Clan squad is, I can maybe put more info, more know on who's on that squad. But it's kind of interesting how you have so much copium with Breakthrough. It's a lot of copium, but it's interesting.
Hey, copium or truth, because the reason why I think that Breakthrough has a better claim to the groups over teams like Oxygen and Turtle Troop, even though they are a similar caliber of team, is because of their winning pedigree, right?
Yes.
They proved it. To be fair, they only entered 2 tournaments together, but they proved it as a core to be able to win when it matters, which I think is way more important than just going on a run, right? Players like Aproto, Thief, they've been doing it for a while. And I think teams like Oxygen has young players on them. Teams like Turtle Troop have young players on them that don't have that same level of experience and consistency at the top level, or that age to them. Oxygen, I think, could maybe have a similar claim to it, but again, I think Breakthrough is just such a well-constructed roster, at least for this. The ceiling on them may not be as high as some of these teams, but I think that their floor is so much higher.
Yeah.
That's my take. As for yours, oh my God, hold up. There's so much to go through here.
I say I'm still kind of confident. I said, my thing is, I said 1 through 3, or 1 through 3. No, the first 2 could go either or. I'm confident from 3 to 6. 3 to 6 is Shopify, TSM, Disguise, G2. I'm confident. I said 7 through 9, which is Dark Ratio, Squirtle Squad. Mad Lions, Turtle Troops, and Oxygen Esport. I say either of those 3 could go. The only thing I would say probably, maybe I would put Breakthrough at number 10, or maybe put OR in number 12. That's the only thing. I'm changing your
mind, aren't I?
That is the only thing I would say, but I would never put them past the top 10. Maybe the 10th spot, but nothing better than that. In my opinion, I feel like they're not better than the rest of the 9 squads. Damn. So that is the only thing I would maybe change, but minus that is My power ranking is set in stone.
Okay, well, let's return to these power rankings as the season kind of goes on. Other matches this week we'll kind of keep an eye out for. We have FaZe Clan versus G2, The Guard versus Disguised, cool. Breakthrough versus Oxygen is tomorrow as well, which I think is super interesting.
That's gonna be a good game.
TSM Mad Lions, Shopify, Turtle Troop, M80 OR. Nothing too crazy stands out to me.
Yeah, that's the first week, and then next week is starting the next one. You know what?
I think having 6 matches a week is gonna be super interesting.
Let's have our very early prediction. Who do you think is winning this week?
Well, to go through like this list, we have FaZe G2. I'm gonna go G2. So
yeah,
I'm gonna go FaZe Clan. Sorry, I'm gonna go G2 for the first match. I'll go The Guard for the second match. TSM for Thursday's first match. Breakthrough for Thursday's second match. Shopify for Friday's first match, and M80 for Friday's second match. That M80 game I'm really gonna want to watch because that M80 squad looks good.
It's gonna be the
I
first
want to
game.
see them play. It's been their debut game, which is super interesting.
I think their debut game is going to impact on how they are going to be as a squad for the rest of the tournament. That first game
as well.
Yeah, that first match is going to be really, because it's going to get all the rust off. Like it's going to be like, all right, let's get our reps in. It's going to be good. My thing is similar to yours. Okay, G2 is going to beat FaZe Clan. The Guard is going to beat Disguised. TSM beating Mad, but I could see a world where Mad just maybe upsets them. I could see a world. My thing is I have Oxygen going to get beating us Breakthrough, Turtle Troop upsetting Shopify, and then M80 just destroying OR. I am in the Turtle Troop copium, and I just am confident in them. My personal sake, I'm confident in them. There's going to be an upset this week. It's either going to be Mad Lightnings beating TSM, or it's going to be either Turtle Troop beating Oxygen. I feel like every other thing I said is going to be solidified. There's no other way going through. Or I could see maybe the Breakthrough Oxygen game going 50-50. But no, when it comes to M80, M80 is going to dominate. The Guard is going to win, not dominate, but they're going to win. And I think G2 looks like a very solid team. I feel like they're just going to win it. But yeah, that's my first week's prediction. Do you want to play a little game? I have an interesting thing.
Play a little game? All right, I'll play a little game.
Do you want to make a bet on who, by the end of the season, which team qualifies, or out of our prediction, the most amount of teams that we predicted qualifies wins? We'll bet like, I don't know, $50, $20.
$50. I'll put a 20 on it. I'm a little poor.
No, we're good. All right, we'll put a 20. So you tell me who's qualifying in Group A and who's qualifying in Group B, and I'll tell you mine. And whoever has the most teams qualified wins. And if we have a tie, we have to go through the playoffs and see who wins the playoffs, or who has a more accurate prediction in the playoffs.
Okay. All right. We'll get this written in stone. All right.
Written in stone, like whatever you say, you got to bring it, and you can't back out no matter what happens in the games.
Okay. Here's what I'm gonna say. Group A: Shopify, G2, Breakthrough. Yeah, I want to say FaZe Clan.
Wow, that is.
I think for me, it's between FaZe Clan and Oxygen, but I think I'm gonna have to go with FaZe Clan. This might bite me in the butt.
Interesting. Okay. What about your Group B?
Who's your Group A? My Group B, I will go M80, TSM, The Guard, Disguised. I know it's pretty easy.
Okay. Mine for Group A, I have G2, Oxygen, Turtle Troop. That 4 spot's kind of hard. I'm not gonna cop.
Are we doing more points if you get their position right too, or
just whoever gets in there?
Okay.
Position's gonna be crazy. Imagine if we get right. I'm gonna go with a hot take. I'm gonna say Breakthrough is the 4th slot. Shopify is getting out. FaZe Clan is getting out. That's my hot take.
Shopify and FaZe Clan are getting out. That's a crazy
I'm saying this
take.
qualifier is the qualifier of underdogs, and this is what's gonna. That I'm telling you, somebody's gonna get underdog. It's gonna be crazy. And then for Group B, I think I'm gonna go with a safe bet. I'm gonna go M80, TSM, The Guard, and Disguised. I think.
Okay, so it's just Group A.
Group A is gonna be so hard. Group A is literally gonna be so hard to decide. I think that's literally what it is. So my thing. Yeah, I can't believe you're gonna give me $20 and get notched when Shopify doesn't make it into groups. Bro,
you know?
watch. This video is gonna come out. Everyone's gonna roast the shit out of me. I'm gonna get hate, but watch it happen, and I'm gonna be. I'm never gonna let it slide. I'm never gonna let this prediction slide when it happens. It's gonna be insane.
Damn. Well, I think that's it for our first episode.
That is it. Yeah.
And yeah, thanks everybody for watching. This should be posted on the Inting Podcast channel. Next week, I think it's going to be posted on my channel, Dominic Live, on my second channel. So we're going to be alternating every week. Overall, we'll be recapping what's going on in the week, a little bit of banter, kind of our main topic. And I hope it's a fun time. I hope you guys enjoy it. Give us any feedback, what you want to see, if you want to see any guests, if you like us, Rate us out of 10.
No, yeah, for sure. Appreciate everyone for watching. Let us know if you like this format. We've been working on it for a little bit, and we're hoping to see if we can just grow this bigger and bigger. But thank you guys for coming on, and thank you.